Hi, I'm Kane Hodder. You're listening to the Timo and Harley Show. Keep listening, or I'll kill you.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Minecraft, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
Beep, beep. I'm on life support, Timo. Hello. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hi,
Ben,
Timo.
Ben Hair Raising Harley.
Yes.
You apparently you had a hair-raising match as the potentate of hate for your big Halloween wrestling show.
Yes, Timo. Yes, I'm in full recovery.
Full recovery.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Blood transfusions being given. And
blood transfusions. I had a doctor named Lugosi.
Ooh.
I think his name was.
I hope his first name was Rick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
I think his name was Dr. Alucard, maybe.
Oh,
Timo,
God. Here we go. Yeah.
So,
you know what's funny?
yes,
let me stop you real quick. We actually watched Son of Dracula last night with
did you? Okay.
Lon Chaney, and that's where that started.
Did it? Okay.
Alucard, because they said it, and I just put my hand in my face. And he's like, "What?" I go, "Alucard." He goes, it's Dracula backwards.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
they did it in the Batman versus Dracula animated movie too.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did it fool you?
Yeah, but didn't fool Batman.
No, but I bet you got fooled in the ring last night. I heard you took a couple moves and got busted open. What the hell?
Yeah, Timo. You know those cages are they're not as soft as they look.
They're not made out of gingerbread. What?
No.
Oh shit!
You know, from on television they just look a lot less threatening as they do in person.
They're not made out of straw. What?
Yeah, no. Yes, Timo. The poor potentate of hate got his little comeuppance last night. We are no longer holders of the belts. Those tricksters, righteous indignation, they stole the belts.
God, jeez.
Well, they might have won them. I don't know. Who cares?
Thieves in the night.
Thieves, yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's something that I can throw a yellow flag down about, so we'll figure it out. I'm still trying to collect
throw a law book at him, but that's me.
Right. Yeah. Well, Timo, you better keep it warm because I might need you. So.
Oh, I beat with my brain. With my brain. That's exactly. Right. That's my whole thing. That's my catchphrase. It's everything. I beat with my brain.
I like that, Timo. That's good. Well, I might need your brain, Timo. So mine right now is it's not doing as well as usual.
It's a little rattled.
It's a little rattled. Yeah. But yeah, Timo, you know what? A lot of fun. All kidding aside, it was a blast. A good crowd and everything. And I had some of my friends that had never seen me do the potentate live and stuff. So that was fun too. Some good support. People dressed up, last night, and I got to do I built a little thing at the show, a little spooky, scary setting, a little Dario Argento.
Well, and for people listening, real quick, the as we're recording this in the space-time continuum, it is 2 days before Halloween. Harley's wrestling show was Sunday the 29th. So we're still, I know in the real world, when you hear this, we are already looking at turkeys and pilgrims and canned cranberry stuff. But
I'm chasing that turkey, damn it. I'm hungry.
Right. But right now we're still in spooky mode. So so you guys had a little bit of a Halloween dressed up, had the place dressed up just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was our October obsession one. So yes. So it was good though, Tim. I was proud of how it went. I was proud of how it all turned out, regardless of what those tricksters did to us.
Yeah,
but that's okay. One battle does not win a war, my friend.
Nope, sure doesn't.
Right? Attack, and when in doubt, Timo, attack again.
Right.
So that's my motto.
There you go.
Just like Jesse the Bodies. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Did he play for the Raiders?
He might have.
Gotcha.
So no, thanks, Timo, for playing along. But it was a good time. And it should air know we're in the space time continuum, but here it'll be available on YouTube. Hopefully, by
you
November.
hear this by when you hear this. If not when you hear this, maybe the next week or so. As you hear this,
so go check it out and see what those dastardly do-gooders did to me.
They did you good, huh?
They did me good. Yeah, I forgot Cage Locks, but Timo, I did get to do a few things of my own, so I'm very proud of my performance. If it didn't end as well as it didn't end on a high note, I still put some good notes out there.
There you go. When's the next event?
Timo,
you got a beat out of you last night? You don't remember? Those are numbers, Timo. You got to give me a week.
It's the last Sunday in November. Buddy. So if I get a calendar going in front of me here, I might be able to get back to you on that too. Okay. So,
and that's at the same joint?
St. Clement's Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me see here, my friend. That would be September.
No,
September.
November.
Wait a second. Gosh, those guys really did a number on me last night. So let's see, Timo.
Let's see. That'd be Jen Monday. The year, Mm-hmm.
I think that would be November 25th, my friend, the last Sunday.
Oh, that's the same weekend the Project Porcelain Mice is playing with the Urge at the pageant then. So we're doing that Friday and you're doing it Sunday. Be a big weekend for us.
I might have to fly in to see the show and then fly back to Toledo.
Well, I was actually just thinking we're probably only going to do one official film that week.
That's probably a good idea too.
Yeah. So, well, excellent. Well, good, Mr. Harley. Glad that's going well. While you were doing that, I was beating
rolling around in my own blood. Yeah.
while you were doing that, I was I did what I normally never do. I don't ever do this. But I think you're like this. You sit back sometimes, and all of us are slaves of social media. All of us are. And it's not a good thing, I don't think. But but then again, when it's fun to see somebody's kids Mr. Mark Diamond looked like he had a hell of a Halloween party. Did you see his backyard yet? Oh my god!
No, I haven't got on. No. I saw his Godzilla costume. I where the hell did you guys? I had a party store. I'm like, what party store is that?
His backyard made my upstairs look like the lobby of an accounting firm. I was like, gee whiz. But anyway, so as we scroll, we look for stuff like that's fun. People, saying, hey, like your wrestling stuff and. Things like that. Now, but the thing that I don't like is people arguing on there about everything from politics, this and that, So, you get so tired of it. Ben, I got so tired of it that I pulled the Frankenstein card. I pulled the Frankenstein card online. It did start something.
A firestorm. By the time I even got to it, it was already it spread.
Here's the funny thing. And you know me, Harley, so you know that this is, you probably already figured this one out. Just know me well enough.
Yeah.
That was an experiment. Okay? Yeah. Now, here was the experiment, folks. Yes, that was a petri dish moment. Harley's he's waited around in my petri dish. He doesn't want to be there anymore. He's learned.
Damn you. Yeah.
He didn't argue with me about this. Okay, so the petri dish is that we live in an age where my theory is, if you don't like the truth or the fact, then it's not so. If it doesn't fit your comfort zone, then you just don't have to go along with it. It's just you make up your own facts and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of it's really what's meant by fake news. It's really what is meant. I mean, I know it gets lost in. I know Trump's a little excitable, and he started kind of that, and it gets lost a little bit in his fervor. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to get political about that. I'm just saying. But this is what's meant.
Fake news out there.
Yes, and this is what's meant by it. So what I did is, Harley, this is not debatable.
Yeah.
This is true. There's no wiggle room around this at all. This is a fact, okay? So here, I found a little picture that said the name of the monster was not Frankenstein, it was a doctor, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's basically just said, this is not Frankenstein. This is Frankenstein's monster, his creation, whatever you want to call. Frankenstein was a doctor. Okay, so, I mean, and if you saw what was on there, it was hilarious. I mean, and I did this last year, I didn't say anything, but this year I fought back.
Yeah,
I fought back this year. I said, you know what? Here's the thing. Just because, and here was my point of fighting back, okay? Stop and understand, just because you rationalize something doesn't make it so.
Right.
And that's what was happening. People were rationalizing it. One guy, I'm leaving names out because I don't really want to pick on people. Look, it's not the biggest thing in the world.
Oh,
okay. This is, and that's the point. That's why I did it. I did it because this is not an important thing. It's a big deal to me, but I'm a horror nerd. And I know I'm not going to win this argument. I'm not going to win this. I'm not going to win this because, whatever. So one gentleman I know, he read the book and he brought up the fact that he says, well, Adam, he says I should be called Adam because I'm of a new species. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's his son.
Yeah.
Another gentleman said, well, I figured it out that Frankenstein created the monster, therefore is technically his son, therefore he is a Frankenstein. And I said, yes, but a metaphor does not make a name.
Right.
I said, it's not his name. You're rationalizing. And so I said, listen, it's as simple as this. And I still got comments after this, but I said, it's as simple as this. Dracula comes out. There's a big poster. It says Dracula. Lugosi's face is on it. So he's Dracula.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yep.
Frankenstein comes out, and it's Karloff's face on the front of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what started it. It was confusion. The Wolfman comes out, and it's the Wolfman. The Invisible Man comes out, and thank God they had the bandages. Or else it'd be a blank picture.
Who is that?
Yeah, so that was it. And then I still got stuff, and somebody said, well, that's how he's recognized today. I call him Frankenstein because that's how he's recognized.
I read that. Yeah.
And he said, and that's how he was recognized in the movies. I said, which movies? Which movies?
Yep.
And he said, oh, Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein versus Wolfman. I had to throw that in there because it was wrong. It's Frankenstein meets Wolfman. Stuff like that. And I had to come back and say, that's not true. That's plain not true.
Right.
That's not
right.
And everyone brings up the Bride where he says, the Bride of Frankenstein. Well, who made him?
Frankenstein.
Colin Clive is right. There was no debate about this when these movies were being made.
Right.
It's perception. Right. It's just the perception of it.
Right.
So the fella said, look, this is just how I perceive him. I was like, yeah, that's my point. You're wrong. My point is, I know why you're doing it, but you're wrong. That's all. I'm not going to win this. I'm not going to force you to call anybody it, but you're wrong. It's not correct.
Right.
It's incorrect. And people argued against a provable, known fact. Right. And it was funny.
Oh, it went on. And it's funny because, I tried to find the Young Frankenstein with just the Frankenstein, but it kept coming up, putting on the Ritz little GIF because it's in Young Frankenstein. Even it said, who are you to talk to these people like this? I am the monster. Right. And who said that?
Oh, Peter Boyle.
The monster.
Yeah,
the monster. Right. So I mean, now that's a comedy, but still, he's the monster. All right, it's the monster. Okay, I don't know.
Well, the one gentleman fell right into my trap because what he did is he referenced Son of Frankenstein, which actually Young Frankenstein is a parody of Son of Frankenstein. Yeah. And he said, well, it's Son of Frankenstein. It's in the title, dude. I mean, he was kind of being snippy with me. It's in the title. Ha, ha, ha. It's like, Basil Rathbone was Colin Clive's son.
Oh, wasn't it Frankenstein versus the Wolfman?
It was Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and the gal in the gal in the movie, she's a Frankenstein. And actually in one of my, which I use as a safe space for me online, is one of my Universal Monsters groups on Facebook. That is one of my safe havens, like in this stuff. And someone had put up a picture. It said, when Frankenstein met the Wolfman, and it had a picture of Lon Chaney shaking the girl's hand. Yeah. Because she was a Frankenstein. And I thought that was brilliant. I loved it. I thought that, and it was true. It was a great little moment and stuff. But see, this was, it was, he fell into my trap because people read a headline and they don't read the article. Yeah. And so that's the thing. You read the headline, which is the title, and then you make assumptions based on that and based on the poster art, and then you think it's so. No, it's misleading because how else? I mean, I understand how else do you reference this is Frankenstein's monster? By saying Frankenstein. Believe me, what's funny is the studios, they strained and everything to grow that Frankenstein family to make more Frankensteins come into the movie so they could put the Frankenstein title. But if you watch Frankenstein Created Woman, I don't see a monster. Right, I see a woman that Frankenstein created, Peter Cushing created. How many of these Frankenstein sequels have we watched? Like, and there's only a Frankenstein monster with the square head and stuff in a couple of them. That's it.
Right.
Because it's not Frankenstein. Frankenstein just creates things. He's a mad scientist. He's the archetypal mad scientist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's funny, Tim. I think I've told you this one. In the Ben Stiller show, they did a parody with the Universal Monsters, like a Woody Allen type thing. You know, and Woody Allen was the mummy, and Ben Stiller was Frankenstein's monster. And it was funny because he had a girlfriend. She was like all drunk, you know. And he's like, get in the car. And she's like, well, why are you pushing me around? Basically, like, why? Because you're Frankenstein. He's like, I'm not Frankenstein. I'm his monster. And I was like, yes.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's just simple, but I understand it where people can get confused with it. Like the other day with my daughter, Sydney, you know, I got her some little plush toys, and she likes, I don't know, she's got an obsession with skeletons and mummies. I'm a little scared of.
Right?
Yeah. But I got, you know, like a skeleton, a little mummy, a witch, and there was little Frankenstein's monster. So, but like with her, you know, she's learning her words, and and so I'm like, you know, she knows mummy and witch and stuff. But I'm like, okay, so what do I do so we did monster. I just did monster for Frankenstein. You know, I'm like, you know, Frankenstein's monsters for, instead of, I was going to say, well, Frankie or something. I'm like, no, that's, so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so where do you draw the line?
Look, I understand too. It's not that I don't understand what's happened. And I look back at the poster art.
I know you understand.
When I was a little kid, I fell into that same trap as well and would say Frankenstein and stuff. And it just took me a little while to understand, wait a minute. You know, I started looking at credits and things, and I realized, wait a minute. I will buy, and no one ever says this. And this is what's really funny to me, because it's the one thing I will buy with an argument back. No one ever says it's a nickname.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. But you know why? It's a fact that it's a nickname. It's a fact. What's not a fact is that it's his proper name. That's not fact. It's not a fact. He has no name at all. No name whatsoever. He has no name. And so, but the thing is that I do understand. My point, for anyone listening, my point was I'm going to put something up here that is fact. I know it's a fact. I have studied this myself. I read the book just to see the differences.
That's how. Curmudgeon-y Timo
That's right. Just to see for myself instead of relying on other people's knowledge, you know, just to see myself what is the differences, similarities, how did the story start? And I did. And I read it. And so I know. And anyone who's read the book and stuff like, no. Now you can argue this and that. It's like, but you just can't say he had a name. He didn't have a name. It's real simple. It's not like the shark and Jaws didn't have a name in the movie, at least. I know they had a nickname for him, which people say Bruce, and we heard as Whitey. That's what we heard. Then there was really Whitey. But Bruce, Whitey, whatever. A nickname. He had a nickname, okay? The monster and the thing doesn't have a name. It's the thing. You can call it that, but at least you're referring to the monster itself. My point was, this is a fact. It's not debatable. It's not debatable. Right. It is what it is. And people still argued, even when faced with the truth. They still wouldn't say, oh, that's right. So it was an experiment. And what to do with that, I'm going to leave that up to you people out there. I'd like you to think about it for a minute and think about it on your own terms too. But I'm just saying, just think about that. That's my little gift to the world right now, is I'm not going to complain. I'm not mad at these people. I understand. When the one gentleman said, well, that's how he's recognized, I replied, yeah, that's my point. Yeah. That is, but you're making my point. You're just wrong. It's okay, but you're wrong.
But you're wrong.
But you're just not correct.
You are wrong.
Oh, Chance used to get almost in trouble for saying Frankenstein. Now he says Frankenstein's monster or whatever. So anyway, so that was my Petri dish moment, Mr. Ben Harley. A very interesting experiment, and it went exactly as I thought it would. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, like I said, I am the monster.
You are Spartacus, I'm telling you.
I am the monster.
Yeah. So speaking of Chance and the Frankenstein monster, so now we are in the space-time continuum, right?
Oh, yeah.
So between the last show and this show, now 2 days from now is Halloween. So Chance is now, I do believe, 11. pretty sure. I know he's my kid, but
So, yeah,
numbers
I
are not
know.
great with.
Me either, Tim. I got 4 of them.
I didn't get pile drive,
God, grief. Yeah.
so I don't have that excuse. But I do not have 4 as well. But still, numbers are numbers. They're tough.
Yeah. Names. I just stick with names.
Right. But I've spent the last
numbering them 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right. I've spent the last week constructing a Jason Voorhees costume.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I'm going to start here with what we watched by saying that Saturday night, the Saturday before Halloween, got a little family get together. Even Shay was involved. Sat down in the sunroom. And we did watch Jason Lives Friday the 13th 6. He picked it out. Chance did. That's the one he wanted to see. And here's the thing. He's playing a video game he's all into right now. It's a Friday the 13th video game where Tommy Jarvis, from the Part 6 movie, Tom Matthews' character, is who you're playing. That's who you're running around. You're trying to get Jason. You're Tommy Jarvis. And I actually walked by his game when he was playing it, and I looked over, and clearly it was Tom Matthews' character. That was going around. So that's the one he wanted to see first up. Now, thanks to YouTube and kids gossiping and things like that, he knows basically all the movies.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he said he really thinks that Kane Hodder should have been Jason Voorhees before he was. I just looked at Chance. I was like, yeah, okay.
Well, how?
Sure, buddy.
We'll let him know next time we see him.
Yeah. So we sat down. We did watch that. It is a fun movie. I think it's the last really halfway decent. It's fun. It's funny. I think it's got energy. It's kind of funny, and it's sort of right there at the end of that golden age. I believe it was 86 when that came out. And that's right at the cutoff point there.
A good year for Ben Harley.
Yeah, so that's right at that cutoff of good years, basically. In general. Matter of fact, we were already well past that. This just was like a little beacon of light toward the end.
right, yeah.
So we did watch that. We also watched It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and we also watched the Disney.
Poor Linus.
We also.
I still believe in you, Linus. I still believe.
Snoopy is on fire in that one.
Oh,
he's great in that
good.
one. We're just going through World War I France, trying to get back. And then we also watched the Disney Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is my favorite version of that story. Film, at least. Yeah. So that was fun. That's from 1949. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Disney one. Yeah.
That one is good, though. It is so good.
It is, except it has that Adventures of Mr. Toad on it, too. It's like a 2-part kind of movie thing. And I always skip through the Mr. Toad one. It's kind of a weird deal. So I don't really watch that one, but I love the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So
that's great.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's that old.
Yeah, no,
it's good. It's still good.
It is,
and I love the Headless Horseman version. He looks so cool in that. He looks so good.
It's probably it's probably the scariest version of that story. I mean, I'm even taking the Tim Burton one or whatever that came out. I think it's pretty creepy, pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Ben Harley mentioned Son of Dracula. That's from 1943. Yeah, Alucard with the thin mustachioed. Not Chaney's finest hour.
Yeah,
we're on that Universal freak out. So we're doing them in order. We're doing them in order. So this is the last one we get before we go to I believe it's House of Frankenstein is next, and I think that's the one where Karloff actually does play a Frankenstein type character. I believe he's a mad scientist in that one. I think Glenn Strange was still the monster in that one. But the Son of Dracula though is not Chaney's finest hour. He was just was miscast.
This is kind of sad. Speaking of Chaney and Glenn Strange, Tim and I forgot to mention this last week when I talked about Lon Chaney. When Chaney died, they tried to go around and find someone to speak about him, and no one would. The only person that stepped up to write anything was Glenn Strange.
That's good.
And it just
for him, for Strange, for Glenn Strange. Yeah. Glenn Strange, I think is the second best monster.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah,
he looks enough like the part. As a matter of fact, you remember when they put out the commemorative stamp, the Frankenstein monster stamp, and they accidentally put Glenn Strange. And they said it was Karloff. They got it wrong.
Yeah.
So even the government gets this wrong.
No.
I'm fighting a losing battle in the Frankenstein thing, folks. They can't even get Glenn Strange and Karloff straight, you know.
Right, yeah.
Thank God they didn't put Lugosi's monster up there,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, he was clearly miscast in this movie. I mean, it's just in the Son of Dracula. The one thing is that I think it was like the first time they actually showed him appear out of thin air. They did like an effect actually to do that, and he did have some strength. He did have some power, which is that Dracula usually just kind of he stared you down. That was it. Yeah. He kind of gave you the googly eyes. You're like, I'm crumbling like a house of cards, you know. So you might have done that as the potentate of hate a couple times.
I might have.
Yeah. So all right, let's see here. Moving along, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this in public because I can't remember. I think we reviewed this film though, but from 1974. Where have all the people gone? Did we review that with Peter Graves? It was a made-for-TV movie where they're up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And there's like a bright flash of sunlight and a rumble, and then all the people are gone. And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
It is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice.
So actually,
it looked good?
It looked okay. I think it was a similar transfer. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You know, Prime, I love Prime for this, though, that they have the balls to say, it's almost like open source.
Okay,
sure, throw up your crap VHS, you know, not copyrighted anymore, whatever version of this film. And I love that. It's like, it's not bootlegging necessarily, but you just get to see everything and they don't care. You go to Netflix and it just feels like you need to put your pinkies up when you're drinking something. Or you need to be about 25. Years old and no older, you know, or a superhero freak or something. But it's just very cool. I just love Prime so much. When I saw the documentary about the mentors and Blag from Dwarves was on there, you know, I messaged Mark Diamond and said, hey, I saw your buddy, you know, on there. And he's like, man, I've been wanting to see that. I can't find it anywhere. I go, it's on Prime. Yeah. Man, I need to get Prime. I go, how does anybody not have Prime that's a horror fan? I don't understand, especially a classic horror fans. Anyway, but it was fun to go back and watch. Once again, Ben Harley, I think I was just hypnotized by Peter Graves' glowing hair. How
could you not be? Peter Graves, you know, he commands the screen, my friend. So does his hair. That's his hair.
I can't argue with it
and
all.
usually his skin tone.
Right. All right.
He's always pretty tan.
Right. Let's move on here, Miss Ben Harley. From 1990, went back and watched Stephen King's Graveyard Shift.
Ooh,
yes.
All right.
David Andrews, Andrew Divoff, Stephen Mock. Who's got a back on the Graveyard Shift? Yeah. Boy, when I met him,
Brad Dourif's in that too.
He is in it. He cries a lot. He cries a whole lot. So he's an exterminator. With some emotions. Let's put it that way.
Very emotional.
I had a lot of fun when I met Stephen Mock and was talking about that Graveyard Shift. And I said, you know, your accent in that is so. I don't remember the word I use, but the word I use right now is a little exaggerated. It's definitely a Graveyard Shift. You know, he's like really trying to let you know he's from, and to the point where I didn't know where he was from. Like when I was watching this movie, and he looks so different. He's got a crew cut, like a goatee. Just looks, and he looks badass. I mean, he looks like a tough guy. Yeah. And then he is in the movie, and
working class hero.
Yes, yeah. But I told him, I said, you know, we used to tour Fragile Porcelain. I told him I was in a band. We toured, and I said, you know, you're on the road for a long, long time, sitting there, and we would joke about his character from that movie.
Yeah,
you know, like if Scott would be like, he'd be driving, like, oh man, we're gonna have to load up those stairs at this place. I can't stand the load in here. I'd be like, well, you know, it is a graveyard shift. You're going to have to work hard on that graveyard shift up there, you know. And oh my God, you know. So had a good time telling him that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's the surreal life we live, though, is Mr. Ben Harley.
Hey, we rubbing elbows with celebrities and people, you know, come on.
Well, and we've been begging people for a long time. If you love these old movies, you better go to these shows now. These guys aren't getting any younger. And it is a lot of fun just to stand there and say, you know, and not you and me best friends, but you get to tell the actual person.
Yeah.
You never thought you'd be able to do that. You can say, hey, you know, I kind of kind of aped on your character a little bit, and it was fun, and I appreciated it. But
and most of them do too, though. They really do, And I think a lot of them had no idea that some of these movies would have the longevity that they have, and that
Oh, absolutely.
And they're some of them are very proud of it. Some could care less, I guess. But we've met some really nice people over the years. So much fun,
Right. Well, and
they met us, for crying out loud.
They sure did, and they're proud.
Yeah, they're very proud.
Now, Graveyard Sitt is a strange film. I saw this at the theater. This came out right around that time, like People Under the Stairs was coming out and stuff.
Yeah.
Darkman, I didn't know what to do with horror films at this point. I'm like, what is going on? Like, right around like the 1990 thing. It's not that they aren't good on their own. And I think that's what's hard. I think sometimes I frost Danny Hicks with this because most of his big movies are right in that time that I don't know what to do with. But Evil Dead 2, that's a bright spot.
Yeah,
that's what they call a Lucifer, a giver of light. It's a beacon there in a lot of nonsense. And Darkman's zany and stuff. But my point was they just had an odd feel, and they all came out. So you're being fed all of this stuff at one time, and you're like, where on earth? Where's the Halloween at? Where is our movie we hang our hats on? Around now. And I just don't think there was a whole lot coming out, around then.
It was just getting really I don't know.
Like it's all sequels and bizarre. Because even People on the Stairs is very bizarre to see the first time. You're like, what?
For sure.
For
sure. Yeah. Especially at the ending. I pretty much liked that movie most of the way up until the ending. Then the ending was like a little, I don't know.
When they released Megadeth into the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending. Yeah, Skid Row came out of it. I just didn't really, I hated endings of movies at that point. I did. I just, I didn't know, like you said too, I really didn't know what to do as far as,
Well, it seems like they were all like weird, goofy sequels at that time. And I think that's what Evil Dead 2, I always do say, it didn't help movies because all of a sudden everybody made a goofy sequel that was like crazy like Evil Dead 2 was. And it gave everyone else the green light to do it. Once that was a cult hit almost immediately, but it was, Graveyard. It was so fun to go back and watch. Like People Under the Stairs, I like it more and more as the years go on. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley.
Moving on, my man.
We're going to end up here at two films from the early 80s that I do believe you like. So that's why I kind of was waiting for this. So from 1982, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see if you can guess this one. 1982, starring Moses Gunn. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go backwards Diane Franklin.
Okay.
Andrew Prine. Screenplay was by Tommy Lee Wallace, who we've been talking about with Halloween
Grizzly?
3 and no. James Olsen.
Okay.
Burt Young. 1982.
Prophecy?
No.
Wait. No, wait a second. Tim, I got hit in the head a lot.
Amityville 2, The Possession.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we watched.
I do like Burt Young in that, though. I really do.
Well,
I think he just played himself, probably.
Oh, God. You kidding me? Of course he did. Yeah.
God, that movie's awful, though.
Really? See, now here's the thing. I like it a lot more than the first one.
Oh, yeah. I do too.
But here's the thing. It just ends so poorly and it becomes a really bad, it could have been good ripoff of Exorcist almost in a way.
Yeah.
And it's got all the things in it to make me go, yeah. And it's really good up until the fake ending. Like when the kid shoots the family, that should be the end of the movie. That should be like the big crescendo, this is it. But no, there's another half hour, 45 minutes of like a courtroom scene, and then the kid is up at the house and he's all possessed, and that's when James Olsen shows up and does the most pussy exorcism bullshit I've ever seen. It was just awful. And James Olsen is he's such a stiff, stagey kind of actor.
Yeah.
This doesn't work because he's like, get out of that person, Satan. I mean, that's how he acts, he's like the world's worst.
We reviewed that, didn't we?
I think we did. I think we did, yeah. So, see, I like it, but then I always forget the end and I told Angie, I go, this is one of those movies I always forget the end, and I know why, because it's very forgettable.
Yeah.
But up until the point where he's got the gun going through the house, that's terrifying cinema.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just he blew the whole family away. You know, I mean, his little girls and I mean, it was like and not to. I mean, I guess maybe in 1982 they couldn't end on that.
Right.
They couldn't. I mean, that was just too jarring. Yeah, so it's a strange movie, but it was interesting to watch. We did kind of enjoy watching it just because it is what it is. I like watching some of these movies.
Yeah. I like Burt Young.
I do too. And Andrew Prine. Andrew Prine, had Andrew Prine played the main priest, not James Olsen's buddy, I think the movie would be a totally different story. Totally different story. Andrew Prine is such a better actor than James Olsen, for crying out loud, people. Good gravy. What the earth was wrong with... Anyway, okay. So last up, Mr. Ben Harley, from 1981. Ooh. What do you think I watched? 1981. No, that's 82. That's 82. Come on now. Come on.
Well, it's 81.
Come on, David.
Give me another thing. Come on.
Jesus, Jack, you look terrible.
Are you talking about me, Tim?
No, I'm giving you hints.
I know. I'm trying to
let me think here. Mr. Kessler! Calm down, Mr. Kessler.
Oh, yeah. God, give me a second.
I'm sorry, I called you Meatloaf, Jack.
Exorcist 3.
American Werewolf in London.
In London. Yeah. Mr. Kessler, I was thinking, okay. Yeah.
So I was doing my best Frank Oz there. Sorry.
Yeah. Mr. Kessler. Yeah.
Mr. Kessler. Yeah. So we went back and watched American Werewolf in London just because it's that time. You have to about once a year. What a ball. Just had a ball watching that movie. I just love it.
That movie, like I said, is just, I've never had someone tell me about a movie and just been so, before I saw it and been like so amped up about seeing something. Mm-hmm. I remember exactly where I was, and that movie's just so great.
It is great. Yeah.
If they made more werewolf movies like that, the world would be a better place and we'd have less vampires.
And it holds up. That's what's great about the movies. It holds up. And I look, I'm not going to get down to Howling. That's your favorite. I love the Howling. But the Howling to me, it bothers me. And not because of you. My own personal thing. I loved the Howling. When I was a kid, the Howling scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of thought the Howling, even though I didn't like it as much, I thought the Howling was scarier. And stuff. And, you go back and watch The Howling, and it bums me out just how it a little bit doesn't hold up compared to American Werewolf. And that bothers me. I want it to hold up just as well. And it really, even though I always liked American Werewolf better, we're talking apples and oranges here. I mean, we're talking it doesn't mean I don't love The Howling. I buy The Howling every time it comes out, just like American Werewolf or everything else. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's like, it bothers me. So it just holds up. The humor, the comedy, the way it was shot. I mean, God, the way it just opens with them two going through the moors and everything. It's just,
the acting in that is just, I like The Howling, but the acting in American Werewolf in London is just good. It's written better. It's a better film.
It is better.
It just is. But the scenes like the pub scene, then once they hit the moors, then the moors, that part's just terrifying.
Yeah.
And when he gets attacked, that's the one time, though, I will say in the movie that I like the werewolf, though, is that part when it attacks Jack. Because it's terrifying. Like, that still, to me, is like the worst, like, mauling scene in any movie ever. Right. I mean, it's intense.
Yeah.
And
when it's circling him and stuff, and then it just it gets
but just once it attacks him and it's just tearing him to shreds, it's I mean, it's mind-boggling because it's just so much going on, and it's just terrifying, and it's just
realistic.
Blows me away.
It's realistic. I mean, you're paying attention to the action going on to where you don't even hardly notice a costume or anything. Like, oh my god, you know.
Oh my god,
the part in that really blew me away always, and I just love this part is the guy in the tube, the guy that's in the subway in London, in the tube, and that suspense scene where he hears it down the tunnel. And then it starts kind of following him and stuff. And then he starts running and it gets worse and worse. And when he falls on that escalator, and then they had that cool shot from the top of the escalator.
Yeah.
And you just see the head and the shoulders basically of the werewolf crawling toward him. That part to me was the most brilliant shot. I mean, when he's running away, you're looking around the corners behind him. You think you might have seen something.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's chasing him, but nothing's chasing him. There's nothing there, but you almost put that in your mind. That is just brilliant filmmaking. I mean, that's just that's such a great movie. But it's
with all the people coming back to like his victims and stuff.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that had more of a vampire kind of feel to it, but it was different. Very different. Yeah. Very different to have him walking in
Still not the Howling, but I'll give you that. I'm just joking. No, I do. And I've come to, realize over the years, the thing with the Howling for me, I still prefer the werewolves and the Howling. I think the Howling is this, for me, it's more of a dreamy, really weird, the Wolfman feel than American Werewolf. And, you know what I mean? American Werewolf to me, except for when they're on the moors, the rest of the film doesn't have that same feel as I think the Howling has that from start to finish. Yeah,
I know why. You like the woods. You said it last week in the Wolfman thing, and the Howling is in the woods,
all set in the woods,
and that's why you like the.
You don't know
part.
Who's who. Yeah, and you don't know who's who.
That's true.
And stuff.
Yeah,
and it's scary. But no, they're both to me. They're like I will defend those two movies, even not just for werewolf's sake, for horror's sake.
Right.
I put those two up against anybody, really. I would, because I just like them. For me, they're my type of movies. I like werewolves. They scare me. And both of them are just so well made, and we're in such a good time period.
There was a cycle of werewolf movies.
Experimental stuff where good experimental stuff, not you're not going to territory where like, oh god, here we go.
But it started with the Howling and the American Werewolf of London, and then you ended that the good part. You ended with Silver Bullet, I think. Silver Bullet was really good,
and I still think that one keeps getting better and better.
That's a good movie. It's a real good movie. The Werewolf, it's not as good as Howling or American Werewolf of London.
I've given it a pass. I finally. We talked about this. I finally gave up. And gave in, and it doesn't bother me so much anymore. Right. It really doesn't.
But you could use that costume in a parade, I bet. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So what you got, Mr. Ben Harley? What do you got here for me?
I was trying to think of something good, snappy to come back. That was too good, Tim. I got nothing.
It's true.
Okay,
it's funny because it's true.
That's why. All right, buddy. I got a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to. I got too much, but
you mean the horror stuff?
Yeah. I got a lot of stuff, horror stuff too. Good. But Timo, I'm so happy that I brought my Roku player down, and I got my Blu-ray setup going on, and my Timo Blu-rays still so I was going through a few of those. But we're going to go through some of the Roku stuff first, real quick, Timo. I've been kind of on Keenan Wynn freak out. I'm on a Keenan Wynn freak out.
Not we always, but go ahead.
Yeah, we should be. We always should be.
Those are involuntary sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I watched Piranha.
Oh, nice. You went back and watched it.
I watched it on. Was it on Shout Factory? Maybe, buddy. I think it was. So, I went back and watched Piranha. Now, Piranha also, as a kid, that was the first movie that I ever saw a guy die. And I've mentioned this. A guy die with his eyes open.
Right.
And it's so funny. That shocked me. Absolutely shocked my little, to the core. Shocked my little self. And then, it's funny. I watched it the other day. I've seen it many times since, but I'm like, and it was funny. I kept waiting for it. I'm like, oh, wait, that was it. Oh, that was it. I'm like, really? In my mind, you know what I mean? It's like a cornerstone of my horror life, I'm like, oh, wait, that was it?
Mine was a little girl lived down the lane.
Oh yeah.
When the woman when she gets knocked down the stairs in the basement and they look at her and she's like, her eyes are open.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh yeah.
So I know what you mean. I know exactly.
And that
what
was
you mean.
like, and it's so funny because it's not like that at all.
right. Yeah.
It's very underscored.
Yeah.
But to me, you know what I mean? So, but I Piranha's okay. It's all right.
It's fun. It's a silly little movie.
Yeah. Exactly. It is. You know,
it gives Bradford Dillman a chance to earn money and eat.
Right. That a boy. That a boy. All right, Tim. I'm on my Roku trip still on Roku and Werewolf Lane. I tried Bad Moon again the other day. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back and I
really like that movie.
Closer.
I like that movie a lot.
I gotta watch it a little closer. I was kind of just loosely watching it. You know what I mean? And so I feel bad. I can't give you a proper. Because I know we reviewed it and stuff.
Oh, it's got an awful transformation. Yeah, it's got an awful CG. One of the very first CG transformations where they look silly. Yeah. And it does look silly, but the actual movie
is good.
And the werewolf isn't bad in it at all.
Yeah, and the dog's good in it.
Yeah, the dog. Was it Thor? Is that with Thor?
I do believe, Timo. I think so.
Okay. I thought so. Yeah. But anyway, I could be wrong. I could be mistaking it for another. No, I think it was Thor, because the only other one I could think of was Watchers with the dog. Watchers had the dog as well. But I'm pretty sure that came from a book where Thor was in the title. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah. No,
that's fine. But well, who else? The little kid from Dennis the Menace was in it too. And then what's her name?
Muriel Hemingway, or was it Margot Hemingway? Was it
Margot? Okay. No, Margot. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna go back again and give it a full look see, Timo. So, but I just actually been kind of cruising through. I watched a couple of other good movies the other day. Thank you, Timo Sabin, Esquire the Third.
That's me. I beat you with my brain.
That's right. Yeah, I put in Godzilla vs. Megalon.
Oh, there you go.
The other day. Yes, the Blu-rays of that. Now, Timo, I did watch the version that I'm used to from growing up. But I'm gonna go back. I watched the whole thing, but I'm gonna go back and rewatch it with the subtitles and not the overdub, because the little kid in that movie. I want with the overdubs. I want to kill him. I just want to.
What are you talking about, Ben Harley?
Oh God, he's got the speed racer. Oh my God, it's just awful. And I kept saying to myself, I don't remember him being that god awful. and I literally, when I was done watching it, went back and I'm like, okay, and watched the first few minutes with the and I'm like, no, okay, I can watch it because it's not his voice. I'm like, okay. And he's speaking Japanese. He sounds like a real person. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. But I tell you, the funniest thing in that movie is who Damone is from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, right. Yeah, I love that guy. There's the Japanese version of Damone in this, and it just makes me laugh. He has a Mo Howard look, but a Shemp hairdo kind of. Though, you know what I mean? It's funny. I don't know. But I love that movie. It's got Jet Jaguar in it, and stuff. And I love Megalon. Gigan's in it, and it's good. That's where Godzilla does the running, not really running. He just kind of leaps and does a flying drop kick. Yeah. Where he goes across the screen, I love it. I just can't get enough of it. So I'll report back, though, when I go back to watch
That's a Godzilla kitchen sink movie for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's right before Smog Monster, land where you really, stuff comes off the rails.
Right.
For real.
Right.
Oh, for real. You know that, Tim. I know you know it. Oh,
I definitely know.
Ooh, it comes way off the rails.
Right.
All right, Timo. Also, thank you to Timo Sabin Esquire the Third. Yeah. I also watched Tourist Trap, one of my favorites, on the Blu-rays the other day, and not that I care so much, but William Shea was sitting here. He's also the third, I think, too. I don't know, but he was sitting here.
He's the turd.
He's the turd of the third. Yeah, yeah. But while we were, working, he'd never seen it, and we always watch The Rifleman too. So I was interested to see how his take on Chuck Connors as a bad guy, and stuff too. So, but You know me, Tim. I'm always interested. As you too, Tim. We're spreading the horror love, right?
Yeah,
we gotta spread that horror.
You know that Blu-ray though. There's a problem with that Blu-ray. The problem is it's a TV edit of that film, that's right, and that's what really frosted people when that came out. And I don't blame them. And they were mad at Charlie Band, and they should be mad at Charlie Band. Apparently, all of his stuff, is locked up somewhere in some storage place that he won't pay for, so he can't get his negatives out of there. So he's lying. And he's telling people, and this was a bad one because Tourist Trap was not just a full moon. It was not a full moon movie. I mean, this was when it was theatrical. This was not, this was not Subspecies or something like that. This was a real God honest theatrical horror film. And, so I kept my DVD of it too, because the DVD is the best. It's the best one out there. And I do believe the DVD was taken from the negative. And the guy who did the restoration for the DVD was the one that busted out Charlie Band. He knew the movie. Wow. He's like, I restored this movie. I know it frame by frame. That's not the whole movie. That's a TV print.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, well, I still had fun.
Well, I think it's like a 2-minute difference or so. It's not that big of a deal, It's not. No. It's really, the movie's PG to begin with, I think, but yeah.
Pretty much, for the most part. I mean, there's, I just like this film.
It's creepy.
And going back and watching it when I was younger, it wasn't one that I always would, I kind of didn't really, I told people about, but it wasn't one that like anybody really either knew much about or cared much about. And I always did. I always thought, and even the older I get, the more I think it's one of the better horror films. I really do. And I'm not trying to be a homer by any means. I think it's a very good horror film.
It's creepy
compared to some of the crap that we, have been given, and the mannequins, and then the mannequins were pretty creepy. But the fact that he took on the persona of the last person he killed, and I will never ever forget the scene where he makes the mask of the lady's face while she's alive. That part is just wow. That freaked me out as a kid. The whole movie did great too.
The poster art that sucked me in, and it was perfect for that movie.
Yeah,
it's
really funny. I bought that album a couple years ago, Tim, when we were at one of the Horror Hounds. I haven't listened to it, but I have it now. I just found that the other day, and it looks great. It's the cover is awesome, but I just love that movie. I really do. I think Chuck Connors is great in it. I think it should be more known. I do, and I'm not. Like I said, I'm not trying to be like that because I like it. I just think. Watching it, the more I watch it, the older I get, the better I think it is.
Well, I think Charlie Band has a lot to do with why it's not as known. I mean, I just think it's his. Some would call it frugal. Some would call it cheap. He's a ballyhoo kind of guy. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm not trying to start something with Charlie Band. That's not it at all. Believe me. But I'm just saying that.
Well, no.
And I remember the Blu-ray didn't look bad. It didn't look bad at all. It looked okay. I mean, but I think it was not as advertised. If you ask me, what probably happened was he probably had the artwork done for the Blu-ray, and they just put from the negative, and he just didn't change it. He didn't change it. I'm not so sure he lied. He was cheap and didn't want to pay somebody to change the cover for the Blu-ray just to be more accurate. But I mean, how accurate you want to be when you say it's a 1080p transfer from a TV print? Like, who the hell is going to buy that at a horror show? But you know what? The funny thing, it's out there. It's out there. Either one, and really, they're both very similar. I mean, you'd really have to know the movie to know the difference. But it is a good movie, though. It's a very good movie. Great. It's definitely, I think, Charlie Band's best movie. I mean, it's a good movie. Yeah,
I've always liked it, and one last thing, Timo. Okay. I got a couple things, but we're gonna save a few. I've been watching a couple westerns that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
That I know you'll like. Right. But yeah, Tim, I want to speak on this. I know we've been talking about Halloween a little bit, and the movie with the one coming out. Still haven't seen it yet or anything.
Okay.
But, one thing that we kind of didn't really talk about, and I think needs to be talked about, is Donald Pleasance's place in these movies. Only for the fact because we talked about one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mostly. Now, he wasn't in 3. I think that's why I don't like 3 as well.
It's valid. It's valid.
And I think one of the reasons I like 4 and 5, not most of the reasons, is because of him. I went back after we were talking, and I was like, I need to go back for a second. And I was just wanted to watch some Halloween. I wanted to watch Loomis. I did. And so I went on YouTube and I found a video, and it was really cool. And it was like all Loomis's stuff, all like things from all the movies. And it was, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes long or something. And I forgot how good some of the stuff was in 4 and 5 that he did that helped keep those movies going. And I remember when they came out with, after he died, what was it? Was 6 when he died?
Yeah, that's when he died while they were making it, yeah.
And then I remember just how awful they got after that, too. Like, because he was the Ahab, right? He really, I don't know. For me, he held these movies together. If it wasn't for him, and I feel bad because I talk so much about Michael Myers and The Mask and blah, blah, blah. No, man, if it wasn't for Loomis either, these movies wouldn't have been near as good.
Right.
And I feel bad. I'm not trying to downplay anything. I just feel bad because over the week after us talking about this and watching that video, I'm like, you know what? That guy was the stuff, man. He really was. In 4 and 5, there's some, and just going back and watching that, I'm like, he just knocked it out of the park. And if it weren't for those scenes, I'm like, I don't think I would have liked those movies near as much either.
Right.
I just don't, and man, he's just so good.
Well, he's the one who makes Michael Myers creepy. He's the one who he's his doctor, and he knows what you don't know, and he's terrified. You can tell he's terrified of him. He's nervous.
Oh, he's so scared.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
I love. He says, "Death has come to your town, sheriff." All right. Okay. He's like, okay, then it's your funeral.
Right. Well, and when they're in the Myers house, and the sheriff is like, "Are you scared?" He's like, "Yes, I am." And that really
he was plain scared.
Yeah, yes. I mean, so that oh my God, this guy's scared. He has a script. Yeah. So you're like, if he's scared, I'm scared, But you're right. And I think that I actually think the movie suffered more the older he got because he wasn't quite as his voice wasn't quite as in command and stuff.
No.
Now, in fairness, his character had gotten beat up a little bit by Michael Myers over the years, so it stands to reason. And he was aging, so it's fine. But I don't disagree with that at all because I think, especially in Rob Zombie's piece of crap he put out. I mean, Malcolm McDowell, I'm sorry. I like Malcolm McDowell. I'm a huge Clockwork Orange fan.
I'm a huge fan of him, period. But
yeah, but it was like, I like Time for Time and the other stuff he's in. But it's like, this was, even Cat People, I think he's great in. And it's like, that was just, you can't do it. You just can't do it. And you do bring up a good point because really the movies are Loomis versus Michael Myers. And when Loomis died, it was almost like the studio said, no, it was Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers. No, it was not.
Nope.
No, it was not. It was she was the MacGuffin. She was the one that, for some weird, bizarre reason, he had to kill her. But the whole horror of it was that, Pleasance, even though he knew, the only one who really knew, couldn't really do much about it.
Yeah.
And that's what was really scary about it. And he was the only guy that could do something, who would know what to do. Yeah. It didn't matter, so you're right. And I'm just being a brilliant actor too. I think it's funny that he didn't even really want to do Halloween.
Yeah.
Nobody did. Yeah. But he finally said, all right, fine.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Because I think he was only there for 2 days or something. Or 3
days.
He
did it because of his daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
She liked Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah. Well, apparently she said she liked the music in it. Yeah. So interesting, though. Well, you're right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So I was wondering how this one will suffer. I guess it's just going to be Laurie Strode is going to be the Loomis in this one. Yeah, really. I guess that's pretty much. Yep. Yeah, because he just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He just held those together like glue. He did. He helped those movies when you needed a scene that Michael Myers couldn't be in for intensity. Put Loomis in there, and he's gonna say 3 words, and you're gonna go, oh God, oh no. Well, he's gonna look at and you're gonna be like, oh, you're right, oh God, yeah.
Right. Well, he's what gives it weight. Like I was talking about the Wolfman last week. Claude Rains, this old classic actor, is getting weight to this movie.
I had a question for you, Timo,
go
too.
ahead. Yeah.
And I know it's not to upset you.
No.
Not to upset you. But do you think, after watching The Wolfman again, do you think if the one that they redid, The Wolfman with Anthony
Hopkins,
Benicio
del Toro,
yeah. Do you think you would have liked that if he wouldn't have turned into a werewolf at the end? Anthony Hopkins, the father.
Yes.
Thank you. I thought about you, buddy. Not being mean.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think Timo might have enjoyed this movie better if he wouldn't have turned into a werewolf at the end.
It was a little drab, and they were making it too depressing, the movie, and it was very dark. Yeah. And I kind of appreciated, never even realized how much Del Toro kind of has a vague resemblance to Chaney a little bit, and so
going
everything was fine.
Watching,
but the problem was that Hopkins' character completely, his total character, he was almost like he was closer to playing Odin.
Yeah,
than he was playing a father.
More of like bad guy.
And they have the big superhero fight at the end. You lost me. You completely lost me. I don't want to see him fight. I want to see a horror film where you're just trying to kill the monster. That's
or it would have been good if his dad would have killed him like they did in shoot
but get a bigger stick.
Kill him. Yeah.
Bigger stick.
Oh, much bigger stick.
Or ram the stick through his eye hole or something, Do something else. But no, I absolutely would. And as a matter of fact, it's not like it's not even something that's dawning on me now. I totally knew that when I saw it. I was like, it wasn't that bad. I remember you talking about how you liked the scene in the Werewolf remake where he buzzsaws his way through like the little gypsy camp. And that's like, that wasn't too bad. I also just don't like the way the Wolfman looks. Well,
I've always had that problem.
Like
even with the old one.
Yeah.
Even with the old one.
I agree.
But I'm a howling American Werewolf guy.
Well, me too. Me too. But I'm just saying.
I need more pointy ears.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I would have liked the remake.
Snout.
I need to go back and watch that remake anyway, just to remind myself how much I hate it.
It's not that bad. It really isn't. I actually kind of like it until the end when it really. But you know what?
That's what angers me about it.
Yeah, because I like pretty much everybody in it. There's great acting. I don't really need it gets a little trippy, which I don't really need so much, but that's in all horror films anymore a lot of times, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. The ending, it does fall off the rails. The ending, I just kind of, is for me, like when I'm watching it, I tune out of the end. Mm-hmm. I really don't I don't turn it off. I just like either, I don't know. I don't really, I don't fixate on it anymore because it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it just steers you to this finishing point that blows. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's sort of like if you get picked up from the airport to go to a resort and you have a really fun trip there on your bus and everything, and then you show up to a shack. That's what it kind of is like, a little bit for me. Let's get to our official films, Harley. We're never going to win these Universal Monster arguments. Names. Who did this and
faces
who did what.
And, hunchbacks and stuff.
You know what? We can debate them. It doesn't change the fact that the movies are all set in stone, and they're there whether we like them or not.
They will be there long after us.
People are going to call the monster Frankenstein, no matter how much we complain and prove to them that we're correct. It is, after all, 2018. So.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for letting me go off on my little tangent.
Well, let's get to our official films, and let's start off. Let's go in chronological order again. Let's just do that.
All right,
from 1943, Mr. Ben Harley, we have Return of the Vampire, starring Bela Lugosi. Of all people. Let me get out movie guy here and give you a short storyline synopsis. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
When an errant bomb unearths the coffin of a vampire during the London Blitz, a gravedigger unknowingly reanimates the monster by removing the stake from his heart. Okay, well, that's the beginning. This, first of all, 1943, this was supposed to be a direct sequel to Dracula. And this is a Columbia. It's a Columbia movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So Universal threatened to sue their pants off to do that, So it is what it is. But so basically what we have here is a pseudo weird sequel, not canon to Dracula in a way. This movie, I've seen it like maybe once or twice. This is one of those movies you sit there with a question mark above your head.
Yeah.
While you're watching it. So let me start you off with this. First of all, Bela Lugosi plays, and I hate this name. Okay, he plays Armand Tesla. Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah, why that kind of? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you on that one, buddy.
And he probably is. And I hate to say this, but he seems a bit stoned. He probably is. Another thing
he's not in it a lot.
No, not really. And the other thing that bothers me a little bit about this is that the poster art, he looks just like Lon Chaney Jr. In the poster art, he doesn't look like Bela Lugosi. But here's the big one, and we've been talking about this, Mr. Ben Harley.
The wolf.
I bet you just do not like the wolf man, the werewolf in this movie.
No,
or as I like to call him, Were-Igor.
Were-Igor, yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, and I was thinking about it while I was watching this. I was like, I thought I don't like the Wolfman stuff. You know, it looks like light years ahead of this one. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad about the makeup on this one as far as it just. No, you know, yeah, and oh yeah, it's.
If I'm going to complain about Henry Hull grabbing his hat and scarf to leave the house as a werewolf, I gotta call this movie out for having him talk.
Oh yeah,
a talk.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. And I will say the actor, he actually also vaguely resembles Lon Chaney, just vaguely.
Yeah.
Angie didn't get that, but I was like, no, he's got the build and kind of the face
the
a little
big head.
bit. Yeah.
Big face.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, the makeup is like kind of goofy. You know, they redid the makeup for the 1956 The Werewolf that came out. I don't think we've reviewed that yet. That's a Serum movie, but it's not too bad. I think you have it.
But you're right. He is. He is. It's like Igor mixed with the werewolf, and then he comes and gets Dracula out again, and
no, it's Tesla.
Tesla, yeah, sorry, yeah, Tesla out of there. I thought they were going Alucard on me for sure. I was going to go. It's been a while since. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this one, and I was like, oh my god, are they going to go Alucard again? And I'm like, no,
but they found one worse than that with Tesla.
Way worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
Now this Timo, this movie though, I love the scenes, like the actual sets, like they're awesome, like the graveyard sets and stuff, just awesome. Some of my favorite, and I've seen, like, just they look really. It doesn't. I mean, okay, it's a set, all right, and I know what they've done, but it's like to me. It looked a little bit more real than a lot of the other ones I've seen. It did. It just, for me, it looked more, I don't know, ghastly, and it was supposed to be bombed out. Yeah. Right. Too. And so I think that gave it a little bit more of a cool aspect as well. I loved it. I thought the sets were so cool.
Yeah, it takes place during the Blitzkrieg, which is really, I mean, not only interesting, but it's sobering in a way. I think where it makes the film fascinating, it also kind of hurts your suspension of disbelief a little bit.
Yeah,
you're like,
a little bit.
Man, the monsters are getting bombed now. Yeah, and there had to have been some kind of, that was on purpose. There had to have been something like, look, this is so bad, even our fantasy monsters are getting bombed by this.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah, you know? I'll give you that.
Yeah, very interesting.
That was off-putting with him. Like, I was off-put by the makeup right off the bat, really kind of. But then, yes, Timo, talking werewolves, I don't know. It's
we're still on
it. But, you know, I will say, though, I like all the actors pretty much in this, though, too. And the one lead actress in here, I don't know her well, Timo, but she was like a matriarch or something in the film. Was she was working with her son, fiance was who Dracula was after. I think that's what it was. Yeah. But she ended up being like a Loomis character in this film. Did you notice how she wore like a trench coat, which was funny, most of it. And she was always like, the one sounding the alarm bell and always trying to figure out things. And then she had the guy from Scotland Yard who wouldn't believe her, So I thought she was awesome. I thought she lent a lot to this film because I kept thinking, man, Lugosi's not in this a lot. So I was like, did they use her as more of like the siren or the
harbinger, you mean?
Yes, that's what I'm looking for, Timo. So I liked her character. I thought she was really good in it because she was the one saying these things.
Right.
And she was the one trying to trip him up and things like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna throw it back at you. One thing I did notice, and it's something like sort of like the Loomis thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
The Dr. Van Helsing wannabe guy sucks in this movie. He is no Edward Van Don't Call Me Halen Sloan. And he's certainly no Peter Cushing. That guy blew. I mean, that was that really hurt. There's no interesting.
She was more like Van Helsing than he was. She was like all over it the whole time. And I liked her character more than I guess the rest of them for some odd reason.
Well, and I
liked her more than the guy from Scotland Yard. He was drippy.
Well, I mean, I think this kind of centered way more around the werewolf running around trying to do Lugosi's bidding, in a way. Yeah. And what hurt that is that would have been
felt bad for him.
Yeah, he was not a bad guy. He was under the spell of the vampire, and when Lugosi would put this guy under a spell, he would for some reason turn into a werewolf. Only if he was under Lugosi's spell. It's just an odd curiosity. It does have some atmosphere, but the horror stuff is not very effective in this at all. I like it's really thinking the ending, the weird bomb / sun, the sun being out / nail, like big spike, nail spike ending. It's kind of nifty because there's like a melting face moment. You don't get that a lot in these old movies. You don't get a lot of cool effects like that. And it is thinking outside the box. No bad metaphor, pun, whatever intended for a vampire. But it is thinking outside the box. It's almost like, and maybe it's the individual. Maybe it's me and my own thought process or something. Yeah. But to have it during the Blitzkrieg, just take that. The horror of the Blitzkrieg trumps the horror of anything they could put in this movie.
Right.
And I think it kind of, I don't think it was made for people in 2018 to watch. I think it was made for people in 1943 to watch.
Yeah.
Period. That's exactly the way it was made. That's what it was made for. And I bet this movie really impacted people back then. But I wonder if they got the same thing where the horror of the real world, you can't have the horror of the real world be worse than the monsters in a film. It doesn't work for a horror movie. It does work for making a point.
Sure.
I guess it does. It makes a point.
Because basically the bombs take out Lugosi there for a minute.
Yeah, you never see that. You never see something like knocked out, basically. Knocked out the Dracula character, the vampire character.
And then dragged outside to the sun.
That was cool. I kind of liked it, and I kind of liked the melty face stuff. That was different. They should have showed more of that, but I understand it's 43 or whatever. They probably, it's probably grossing people out. Did you know that scenes from this movie were used in Iron Maiden's video of Number of the Beast?
Yeah, the werewolf definitely is from that. Yep. So the first couple... When he first comes across the screen, they use his face in that video. Yeah. I'll tell you, Timo, though, I will say there's not much Dracula, but you give me a girl in a nightgown, sashaying through.
Stop right there. That's all you need.
Through the graveyard. In black and white with the mist, I'm in, man. I like Lugosi, but I'll take a little bit more of that too. So, but I was in.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna. This is a tough one for me.
It's a weird one.
Let's put it this way. I'm gonna do this, but that's because it's a bad horror film.
Yeah.
It's very creative. They really tried to do something different here.
Yeah, they did. They were
just really missing pieces that they couldn't do anything about. There's no good Van Helsing character. It just it really feels like kind of a propaganda kind of movie a little bit, and it works. It's very effective in that, but it feels almost like when you see James Stewart doing the military films.
Yeah.
It really feels like something that they would play on a Navy ship to get people kind of fired up a little bit. And then I might be overstating that just a touch, but I bet they did. I bet they did. And so I'm pooping on it, not pooping on it. I don't like it. That's what I mean by that. I don't hate it. I find it fascinating, and I think you should see it as a curiosity. It is on Amazon Prime right now. Actually, I think both the films we're doing this week are on Amazon Prime this week. And to check it out, good. Just go into it with knowing that I said, and that might help you watch the film and enjoy it more, going in knowing this is not a good horror film, but it's a very fascinating, interesting, creative movie.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to be, I'm tired of this on the fence stuff. I'm going to poop on it. I don't like it. It's a bad movie, but with all those caveats in there. All right. What are you going to do, Harley?
I'm going to give it a very, very low grade babe.
Okay.
Only for the fact that I do find it, like you as well, a little curious. Mm-hmm. I like the sets in this movie, and that's the only reason I'm not pooping on it.
Right.
It's because
it's the nightgown at night. Don't give me that crap.
Well, that too. Well, I was getting to that. And there's a couple other scenes or others that maybe not poop on it as well. So but I did find it curious. Uh-huh. I really did. But I don't know that it's not one that I'm going to recommend. Like, oh, you got to see this one.
Right.
But I might be going back to this one for some inspiration on some set design.
There you go.
But other than that, I'm not. I can't poop on it, though it should be.
I got you. No, that makes sense. So, I mean, that's why I had a hard time with it too. I mean, because there's some things that are just like.
But I'm not on the fence.
Gotcha.
I gotta go. I'll go.
I got you.
Real low at the bottom of my great babe cup.
All right. Well, let's get to. I don't think we're gonna have any kind of fence sitting in our next film, here, Mr. Ben Harley.
No.
From 1979, we have the film Up from the Depths, which I'm not sure the movie ever comes up from the depths, but
no.
Let me give you let me get the movie guy out first. Let me give you. It's only.
Is there one for this? Is it in Italian or anything?
No, but it's only a sentence, and I think you'll like it. All right, you ready? Right, and you're not going to like it, actually. But here we go. All right, here we go.
Is Jaws influenced?
Here we go. Yeah. A giant shark-like creature preys on a Hawaiian tourist community. Okay. Actually, it's even listed as a comedy horror movie. I don't think. I don't think
they were going for a comedy, though.
I don't think so either. Let's see. Let's get a few things off the table here. First of all, this is here comes my word again, Harley. Here comes my invented word. Here we go. This is very Jawsy. It's very Jawsy, but way off with no budget.
Yeah,
it's also, Mr. Ben Harley. It's very Jawsy. It's also no budgety.
Right,
it's no budgety a little bit.
No budgety. Yeah. Oh God.
It's starring Sam Bottoms from Apocalypse Now, which, God, you got to think it's at the exact same time. He's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Coppola dropped me off at the wrong airport or something.
Is this a joke? Yeah.
Well, it was shot in the Philippines. I don't think it's too far away. Yeah. He might have just trucked over there and got an extra paycheck or something.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Directed by Charles B. Griffith, who he actually wrote Little Shop of Horrors, believe it or not. The director of this did.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, and it was released by New World. Double billed with The Brood.
Wow.
Any chance people enjoyed The Brood more than this?
Yeah. I hope they played this second so people laugh.
Right. So let me set up one more thing here by saying the director's cut. They shot it in Manila and edited it and everything. They sent it to Roger Corman. Corman had the film recut and had additional footage edited in, which I bet involved nipples. Whatever Corman put in there, I bet involved nipples.
Yes.
I bet. So,
God bless him.
So this is a real bottom of barrel Jaws ripoff.
Yes.
Put that way. So Harley, you've been waiting for this one. I know it.
Yeah.
Get your scissors out. Start cutting.
Now, I'm going to give you my pun right off the bat, I guess. But this is the poster child for the poster art swerve, buddy, because I remember this poster art forever, and it's not bad. It's actually pretty good, especially for back then, and it's one of those that would make you want to see this film.
Sure, yes.
And it is not the film you're getting. Nah. You're better off standing and looking at the poster for an hour than you are, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, my God. And no, I watched this last night after my beating.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know it was bad already, but I was maybe see. Now, Timo, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you say they sent it to Corman for editing. When I got done watching this film, I figured that it was edited by a guy who went over Niagara Falls in a barrel. And it was edited at the time he went over, because this is some of the worst editing I've ever seen in a film in my life. Yeah. And now they use and I can dig it. I'm a Godzilla guy. I just watched Megalon the other day, and I could tell you the scenes that are from like 8 different movies. Right. Okay. Right. They use them. Okay. God bless you. Use them if you can use them. But this, they used a lot of the same, especially when I don't think it was a shark. I don't know what it was.
I don't think they ever even tried to say. I think there was one moment where one guy said, I thought you were just making it up. He named it some kind of legendary name. Sam Bottoms did. He said something to the boat captain and said, or somebody came up and said they saw something and it was some legendary name. He goes, I thought you were just making that up. No, I thought it was just a story. That was it. They don't talk about it, but I remember it all. And here's the thing too. It might be 1979, but this has 1959 middle school film strip production values.
All of it. Yeah. Oh,
it really does. And the music is plain horrible in it. It's like the most cookie cutter, generic bullcrap you ever would hear. And to add to the awful music, I'm pretty sure the whole thing was voiced over. I'm pretty sure it was all dubbed and voiced over. And it doesn't. It doesn't even help. It doesn't even make it funnier. It doesn't even. It just makes you want to punch something.
Well, I usually don't subject Wendy to some of these films that I like, too. Not the ones that we do, even some of the ones that I like.
But she had it coming this time, right?
Oh, poor girl. She was like, because she was like trying to kind of, and I was like, no, I said, honey, I think some of it's overdubbed. I'm not sure if this might be Italian. Some's overdubbed, some isn't. I'm not sure. She's like, oh my God, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, no, it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
And there was a couple scenes, and she didn't watch all of it with me, but she was just like, her reaction was just like, oh my God! Like, and it wasn't the shark or the blood, it was the acting. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God!
Well, that's what I'm saying. Bad voiceover. Oh, remember when we talked about Something in the Woods?
Yeah,
the Bigfoot movie, and I said, man, this really got hurt by the voiceover stuff because you have to be a very talented. And no disrespect, because we were friends with Michael Hall and stuff, and I told him straight up that's what I felt about it. And the thing is, you not only experience, you have to really know what you got to cut your teeth so many times to make that stuff work, and it does not. Yeah. Now, when you look at it, like being a guy who has to deal with microphones, let's put it that way. Yeah. I was looking at it going, they're going to have to voice over because it's so windy. It's so windy that there was no way they could get their that time could get their voice without budget, get their voices down with all that wind and everything, and the Foley was in and out, so you could tell something goofy was going on. At first, I was just hoping the acting and directing wasn't that bad, you know, but I think it was, and the voiceover was just as bad. It was just as bad.
We don't even really give a plot, do we? Because
no. It's just there's a resort, and there's some sort of point of view fish monster that's maybe killing people. I mean,
the drunk. I think Brett Lasky was the captain.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy that gave up the saying. Oh, I told you about the monster down there.
Yeah.
But boy, I didn't know he was real. We got to talk about not the boat captain guy. That guy's good too. I kind of like that guy. But we need to talk about the resort manager here.
Oh,
he was almost doing a Rob Bottin transformation into Larry Fine. I swear to you, I thought his hair was going to sprout wings and fly away at one point.
It had a life of its own, and I said that to me. I was like, just at that point, just give it up, pal. You got so much lost on top, and you're trying to make up for the back and the sides.
Right,
it's just
Harley. It is close to Halloween. If I was that guy, I would simply dress up like a tree to my neck, and then I would draw an owl's face on my top of my head and just go around like that. I swear to you, I would. Or I would put my head way down, and then I would draw an Amish person so that it would look just like he had like a beard going around there with the hair.
Yeah.
But that guy, I'd say he was sleeping with someone, but even if this was a man-on-man situation, what dude would want to be with that dude?
Yeah. I was thinking, Tim, what mafia money went into this one? Like, what was the how much?
Well, it was shot in Manila.
So what?
And it was shot in Manila in the Philippines. It's not known as like the most, there's nothing going on under the surface of the Manila,
drug cartel.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. No human trafficking, nothing like that going on. Yeah. Now here's
that was like I don't know, Tim. I've seen some bad films in my life,
right?
And I know we've reviewed some, and we watched some on Mystery Science and stuff.
Oh, it's totally Mystery Science movie. Yeah,
yeah. This I don't even know. This is like a bad Mystery Science. This is like, you know what I mean? It would be a bad. Oh, they'd love it. Oh, but I'm like, it's just.
I could have swore they did it. I thought they maybe had done it. I'm not sure. I know they did Devilfish.
Oh yeah.
And this is a lot like that. So if you know what Devilfish is, that's like the Italian version of this. Basically, this was not Italian. It's
but
not.
Timo, after watching this, like Piranha might be Gone with the Wind,
the greatest film ever made.
Yeah.
It
might be.
So here's one. All right, I got something for you, Harley. Because I tell you what, Harley, I like to say I don't like to toot my own horn while I'm tooting my own horn. So here we go. Very, very proud of myself. So we're watching this movie.
Yeah.
The same one you watched last night. And they're in the bar scene, the tavern scene, bar scene. And three minor characters walk by the screen.
Yeah.
And Angio will completely back me on this because she's sitting right next to me. And I said, holy shit, no way. And Angie's like, what? I mean, she probably thought I saw like a wasp fly across the screen or something like that. I rewound it and I looked at the characters and I rewound again. I looked. She's like, what? I go, that's Arlie Ermey. She goes, what?
Was it really?
I go, that's Arlie Ermey from Full Metal Jacket. She's like, what? It was. I looked it up, and he's actually one of the three clowns on the boat that blow themselves up. He's the guy with like he looks almost like he's wearing a picnic table, like table cover or whatever. The red one, and he's one of the three goons that blow themselves up in the boat.
Wow,
it's Arlie. And I saw him immediately. Like, and there was literally like 4 frames of his face when I caught him. I'm like, whoa, no way. And I went back, and sure enough, it was Arlie. And I'm good.
That's funny, right? Because I tell you, I might have missed it because that scene you're talking about. There's one where like that. There's a guy and a girl talking, an older gentleman and a woman talking, and then they're talking to the guy with the bald head, our buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, Timo, the older gentleman said about 30 seconds worth of dialogue, and I still could not figure out what the hell that guy said. And I always do that when I'm watching movies. I'm like, what did that guy just say? But I could not and I was like, wait, what the hell did that guy just? I have no idea. And that's the first time in my entire existence of watching movies for a 30-second span. And I was too tired to rewind it, though. I'm like, I'm not even going to rewind it.
You didn't see the Arlie
But
Ermey,
he said something really good. And then you're watching you probably say, I'm trying to figure out what the poor sucker's trying to say. And you're picking out guys in the back. Good eye, Timo. That's good, brother. I'm proud of you on that.
It was him. I looked it up, and I made sure it was him, and sure enough, it was definitely him. Look,
it was
and here's
my
the thing.
Trying to listen to any type of dialogue or care about anything in this film.
Well, and here's the thing, too. If we're being honest here, when you go back and you start the movie, and you start watching it, you don't think this is going to be quite as bad as what it ends up being. It's not that bad. Yeah. It's okay.
Right.
You get to kind of set up like a lot of these movies are set up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to say that the wheels fall off in this movie is an insult to Lost Wheels.
Wheels, yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's
now,
awful. Tim, it just goes, whoa. This falls apart.
This will tell you about the tension in this film, okay? When people were getting ready to go into the water, I wasn't scared because I was scared of them going into the water to get eaten. I didn't want to see another 10 minutes of someone swimming around and doing nothing because it kept happening. I'm like, oh God, no, don't go back in the water. No. Why? Because seriously, I'm going to have to watch a dozen minutes of bullcrap to see 30 seconds of the same footage I've seen 10 times. And all it is a little blood in the water and some fake teeth and then like a chunk of meat. They kept showing the same chunk of meat over and over and over. I'm like, what chunk of meat is that? Is that the shark? No, I don't know what it is. I don't know. But
even like, okay, the very end. What the?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know how.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so they put a dead body in the water for bait, a dead human body for bait.
Yes.
Okay, for the big finale, and it ends up being dull. You put a body for bait, and it ends up being dull. And then basically what you get, and this is what we rewound the end. Angie and I both rewound the end because we we were almost done with our drinking our wine that night, so we were a little bubbly ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss something? She's like, what? Like the end? I'm like, did I miss something? Yeah. So basically what you get is they're dragging a dead body. You see bloody bubbles and then an explosion in the water, and it's over.
The shark. You see the shark. Don't you see like just the end, its tail maybe at one point?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like in general,
that's it.
You just see like you don't know where it was. Like how did it? I mean, it's just completely like almost like half of the last minute wasn't shot.
Yeah.
And that's
You're
a
right.
lot. That's a lot. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot. Like it's gone. I don't even know what the hell just happened. All I know is that something in the water, it was almost like if Jaws would have ended, or maybe it was Jaws 2. Which one was the one where they all go out, all the idiots go out with their guns and try to like start throwing dynamite in the water and stuff?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, in one.
So it was almost like when the idiot threw the dynamite in the water, the explosion happens, and a movie.
Yeah. Yep.
That would have been, that's how jarring this is. Like they didn't show the shark or nothing, just boom, over. Like
she jumps in the water, swims over, hugs him, and it's over.
It's
I'm
over.
like, what the?
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. It had about as much tension as watching butter like melt. You know what I mean? Like,
at room temperature.
And I'm talking exactly. I'm talking about a frozen stick of butter. You just sit it there.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, there was zero tension in this film, like zero. And I said to Wendy too. I was like, "All right, I want to see the guy that gave these knuckleheads the money to do this, and then I want to see his face after he saw what they can't. Wait, I gave you money for that hunk of oh God,
yeah.
Or maybe he was happy about it. It could be the best thing the guy ever did. I don't know.
Yeah. Look, this movie is a resounding.
Yeah,
I'm talking a squirty one.
Yeah,
one that makes you have to go home from work.
Yeah, one that you're like, oh no, not here, not now.
Right. What excuse am I going to use, and how am I going to tense up and walk out of here like I have rheumatism? So nothing falls out of my pant leg and get home because it's this squirty, bubbly, bad stuff. It's on awful.
Deck.
Yeah, this is one of the worst films ever made. One of them. I mean, there is no such thing.
You think Plan 9 from Outer Space is bad? This is way worse than that.
There's bad and entertaining, and then bad and just boring, and you're waiting to be entertained. You know, it's an awful monster.
Yeah.
They would show it long enough to at least let you laugh at it that much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, but oh boy, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you how you can basically have the exact same setup and everything as Jaws, and in incapable hands, it's awful. It's like Great White or something, or what was The Last Shark, whatever you want to call it this week.
Oh,
you know, it's as a matter of fact, The Last Shark's much better in this movie.
It is.
It's way better in this movie. Yeah.
And that's really saying a lot because that's an awful.
I almost pulled a Mad Fox's card, but I'm just telling you right now. So I'm going to Harley, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all right. Well,
awful,
if you don't believe us, it's on Amazon Prime. You can look up from the depths. The only thing is that if you're a young lady, or I guess fella, if you like to do this, who like to look at men, I mean, there's lots of shirts off in this movie, I guess. I was yelling about it, complaining about it, but then again, so was the resort manager running around with. So, you know, it is what it is. There's really pitfalls in anything that you're going to experience here in this movie. So
the only thing I heard good about this film is Wendy at one point said, that's a nice bikini the one girl had on. That was it.
You probably agreed.
I like that bikini. Yeah. I did too. I said, oh yeah, that is nice.
Well, yes, I think it is. It's it really accentuates her olive complexion a lot.
Her eyes.
Her eyes, right. Yeah. Makes her hair look a little fuller, I believe. Yes, you're right about that. Yeah.
Well, that was the only thing I heard good about this film. And I will agree, it was a nice bikini. So So there was a clear boat in this movie. Tim,
it looked like the budget version of Wonder Woman's plane, didn't it? It was like all see through. Yeah, it looked like the guy with the flex tape thing. I'm in water. Look I got tape on the water. Okay, that's great.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I had to bring that one up.
All right, so we have two resounding for Up from the Depths. Return of the Vampire. I kind of pooped on it, but I think we're really close on it. I just decided to go that direction because
I'm pretty close.
Yeah, well, and I'm pretty close for you. I just thought that I wanted to go in that direction just to let people know. I think you ought to see it, check it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
But you're not going to like it a lot. It's not going to be one you're going to go, oh man, you need to check this movie. That's amazing. No, it's weird. It's different.
Yeah.
But it's worth watching for that. You're just not going to like it a whole lot, but you're not going to be terribly bored in it either.
No.
It's a real short movie too, by the way. Yeah. So it's no big deal.
Just over an hour. Yeah.
Right. So. And if you want to see something Columbia was doing, then, because every now and then you'll see like a Warner Bros. Columbia movie, you wonder, man, I haven't seen this much. Well, they don't really push their stuff as well as Universal. Universal really only pushes their classic monsters good, though.
Yeah,
they got some other ones down in there that we watch sometimes that
should be.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, Mr. Ben Harley, I don't know what we're doing next week.
It'll be riveting.
It's going to be riveting.
I'll have more blood in my system. I should be better off.
Make sure to eat beets and carrots.
Yeah.
And anything, I don't really know what beets and carrots will do, but to me, it just sounds like something that would be good.
I figured I'd take an extra men's one a day vitamin today.
That ought to do it.
I hope.
Rebel Elder Dirt on it. That ought to do it. So, all right, folks. Till next week, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Yeah, keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.